ここが F1 ワールドチャンピオンシップ第15戦の開催地、鈴鹿だ。レースまで4日あるというのに、パドックでは裏方たちが忙しく立ち働いている。タイヤの数を確かめ、マークをつけ、エアーのチェックをする。明日の第一次練習走行と公式予選のための念入りな準備。すでに今シーズンのタイトルを決めているナイジェルは、日本でかつて一度も優勝したことはないが、今度こそはと重大な決意をしている。今回の旅にはナイジェルのアメリカ人弁護士ティム・ジョンストンも同行している。パドックパスを幸運にも手に入れると、ここで行われる全てを目にすることができるだろう。アイルトン・セナやウィリアムズ・ルノーチームのオーナーフランク・ウィリアムズ。ただじっと立っているだけで誰にでも会える。まさに F1 の世界を垣間見るチャンス。今日の大会のためにピットストップの練習をするウィリアムズチーム。
Well, good afternoon to you. We are here now in Suzuka in Japan. You can see a lot of the screaming Japanese across there, and we haven't even started yet. Anyway, what we have here is a very good close-up of the steering wheel that we use to activate the gearbox. As you can see, all we do is just press the lever up and down like this, and that changes gear. Nice simple device, nice lightweight yoke. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's fairly straightforward, except when you're going around corners you have to remember which way is up and which way is down, otherwise you can have an exciting time. Well, here we have FW14B. It's got new wing end plates on for this race, which has been tested with Damon the last week or so. Seems to be a little bit more efficient. We've got Stuart on the front there, which is the #1 mechanic, which a lot of credit goes to this year. All the hard work that he's had and done. Occasionally he can smile, as you can see. Let's walk and take a closer view of the car. As you can see at the moment, all the bodywork's off, so you can see the various computers and control boxes. I won't identify exactly what does what, because then I'll compromise my position within the team and the contract, but if you just focus into them, you can see the various wiring that goes to various control boxes. This is top secret underneath here, so you can have a quick look quickly and then put it down quickly, and I never showed you it. Look, get the chief mechanic, he's looking at me now. Now this is Dickie, chief mechanic. Tell him Dickie, how strictly confidential that is.
Very confidential.
Yeah, so needless to say, I shall get a huge whatnotting when this comes out on telly or video, but I mean, what the heck, I'll be transatlantic by the time this comes out. The essential parts of a Formula 1 Grand Prix car is obviously the suspension. The most incredible thing about this car, it doesn't have any. Yeah, this is basically, what do you call this now?
Strut.
Just a strut. Yeah.
Strut.
Yeah. That does everything, and it has only a little bit more movement than that. And it just controls the ride height. Now, another little bit of... you got that? Highly confidential and sophisticated. I could get fired this weekend before the race starts. How confidential is that, Stuart?
As confidential as that.
Yeah, okay. Let's take you through the cockpit a little bit. That's very confidential. This button here is the automatic transmission. You press that button, you don't have to touch the steering wheel again. It changes up the gears all on its own at a preconceived rev change. This button here, this can alter your ride height while you're going along, and it's like a low drag situation, which everyone seems to know about now, so I've got no problem telling you. These are all different settings on here that you can have on the dashboard, which shows you the ride height, standard ride height and the test ride height. This is the RS4 engine, which is a very good engine, very tidy. Car is engineered very, very well indeed. I mean, if you look at a car and it looks tidy and clean, then the chances are it's the engineering of it is very good. Petrol tank's right behind the driver here and comes out level to about here, behind the driver's shoulders. This is, I'll introduce you to Dennis Chevrolet, which is the Renault engineer for the engines. Dennis, come and say hello to the English viewers here.
All right.
Dennis Chevrolet. Dennis looks after basically myself through the whole weekend and gives me a lot of good advice on how to get through some of the corners because of all the computer printouts. Dennis looks after the engine totally from start to finish, and if you'd just like to say some of your parameters, what you have to do over a weekend.
Yeah, in fact, we have some good acquisition data. It means we are able to know quite a lot of parameters from the engine. So some of them are useful to know if the engine works properly, and some others can be a bit useful for the driver in the way to manage any corner, any way to use the engine. So that's what we do. So it means we have job to do before the session, during the session, and after the session. That's, I think it can be a good support for the driver, and mainly for us if we have a problem, we can try to solve it because of these data. But it means a lot of time to work on them.
And then during the course of the race, you're monitoring everything, and obviously we be keeping communication, and you actually determine what fuel load we have for the race.
Yeah, in fact, in the race, we can't have any mechanical action on the car, because any mechanical action means the race is wasted. So we need really just to try to keep best run. It means if there is something wrong about some temperature, try to advise the driver, or as well be in the position to manage any fuel consumption, to give him any instruction to manage the switches on the board.
So as you can see, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and I'd like to thank Dennis for his efforts in 1992, and he was a very key part of winning the 1992 World Championship. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Nigel, for your fantastic driving.
Thank you.
And you're a very nice man, as you are. Thank you.
Did you hear that? And he's right. Thanks, Dennis.
一流の人間から直に話をしてもらうことのなんと素晴らしいことか。
Now come on, boys. Do not panic. Just get it on and go. The new star of the Williams team, 1999.
この週末無数にするであろうサインの記念すべき第1回目。4.9 秒はかなりの好タイム。 フェラーリが 4.39 秒で記録を塗り替え、ウィリアムズの記録をたやすく葬った。ジャン・アルジはレース中も同様のタイムでと臨んでいる。ナイジェルはスポーツカーワールドチャンピオンディレック・ワーウィックと雑談をしている。彼は今日フットワーク無限ホンダと1993年の契約にサインをしたばかり。メカニックたちでさえサイン入り写真を欲しがる。
Renault! What we have behind us is the engine engineers and mechanics, and you have all the computer base behind here where they get all their information from. There's probably something in the region of about 4 or 5 different computers back there. Dennis has his own one, which is obviously plugged into my car or the T car. Ricardo's engine engineer, Eric, he has one in tandem as well. And then there's other computers over there, which are the ones which are linked in directly to the gearbox and the control system that activates that. And we have all the system, we monitor it. And it goes without saying that we have certain people here in the garage which are extremely clever, and if the software needs to be rewritten, we can do that on the spot. In my personal opinion, very, very clever individuals, and without them, the success of the team wouldn't have been as great as it has been this year, no question about it.
I gather that you got a close-up look at IndyCar racing last weekend in Monterey.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Monterey the last race, and it was very, very interesting, very different. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to even try and compare the two, other than the fact that, the cars are very similar. They're 500 pounds heavier, and they have virtually the same horsepower, but because they're heavier, they accelerate a little bit slower. Circuit was great. It was a very, very interesting circuit, so much so that on the Sunday, rather than watching, I felt like racing. The team I'm joining, Carl Haas and Paul Newman, exceptionally good people, very pleasant, and thoroughbred racers. Paul Newman, obviously a great star in his own right, and tremendously enthusiastic, and as he keeps telling me, this is going to be one of the greatest adventures of his career and life, with me teaming up with his team. Carl Haas, very professional indeed, tremendous amount of successes behind him, and a very fair and honest man, and I don't think you can ask for more than that. Looking forward to the winter program with the testing. Going to be a lot of transitions for me to make personally. New circuits, new car, new engine, new driving style, different tyres, I mean, a lot of things, but if you like, a bigger and greater challenge. Unfortunately, as you're aware, it didn't work out for me here, which is very, very sad. Who knows what the future will hold? We'll have to wait and see.
What is your timetable for easing into the IndyCar system in terms of testing? And
I'm going to be doing a couple of tests in January. First week in January, at the end of the first week, going to be in Phoenix on the road course and the oval. The third and fourth week, I'll be at probably a road circuit, maybe Monterey in California or somewhere else. But certainly we'll be getting some miles in, a lot of miles before getting into the first race. Very, very important. As you know, I'm having a little tricky operation in early December, December 1st, and that'll put me on crutches for 2 to 3 weeks where I won't be able to put my foot down at all. But it's very essential I get this operation done because I've got to use the clutch with anger next year, and unfortunately my foot now has deteriorated quite a lot over the last couple of years, and hopefully I'll be out of a lot of pain next year.
did you get to try out a clutch yet in an IndyCar?
Yeah, and one of the main reasons for going in and having the operation is it's just so painful. I can't push the clutch down very hard.
Shattered bone, is it, loose in the putter?
Yeah, I mean, I had a very bad accident some years ago, and I've got some fragments, spurs in my foot, where I should have had an operation 8 weeks after I smashed it, but because of the racing schedule, I couldn't afford to take the time out because it would have been at that time in plaster for 3 months. and that would have put an end to my career that year, and I just felt that I could put up with the pain, which I have done for a long time. But if you like, it's caught up with me now, and unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, that now the medical science has moved on to such a point, and the various mechanics of it is such that instead of being in plaster for 3 months, I've only got to sort of rest it up and be on crutches for about 3 weeks, and maybe be able to be driving within 5 weeks. And you know, it's a lot shorter than 3 months. So it just goes to show how the medical things advance over the years, and because when I damaged it was quite a considerable time ago.
I gather as well you've got a fairly hectic program this week in Japan of social events and what else?
Yeah, I mean, literally from this afternoon onwards, I've got people waiting for me out the back now to speak to me, and you know, it just takes a little bit of time, and you know, there isn't an evening off, but I mean, that's part of becoming the Formula One World Champion in 1992, so part of that I love. Part of it is makes things very difficult. I've just got to rush now, and I'll be back in a minute.
ガレージの外には一目見ようと群衆がいつも待ち構えている。ナイジェルは他の番組のインタビューを受けている。お祭り騒ぎのサーキットを離れ、静かな鈴鹿サーキットホテルに向かう。ナイジェルと落ち着いて話せる機会に恵まれた。
Well, hello and welcome. I mean, here I am in your homeland. You must be very pleased. I certainly am. I'd just like to say hello to all the viewers and thank them for all the support you've given us with the Wow Wow show. But isn't it nice we've arrived here, and I must say it's one of the nicest afternoons and evenings I've arrived here in Japan. Here we are now, Thursday afternoon, around about 4:15 in the afternoon, ready for the onslaught of tomorrow. No, and of course this weekend, I mean, although it's only 2 races to go now in my Formula One career until, shall I say, I retire to go to IndyCar racing, I am pretty well fired up. I mean, it'd be lovely to try and win here in Japan. As you know, I haven't had a fantastic result here, so why not have a great result in 1992? We've just got to wait and see. As you're aware, I mean, the last 2 years in Japan here have been extraordinary, haven't they? I mean, the last race I had with Ferrari in 90 was, of course, when I was winning the race, when the drive shafts broke at the pit stop. And then, of course, last year when we were fighting to stay in the World Championship, I'll say, obviously went off at the end of the pit straight, and that was the end of my race again, and it was the end of mathematical opportunity of winning the championship. Obviously, unpleasant thoughts of 1987 when I had that real severe accident and ended up in hospital, and many other incidents here in Japan. So, I mean, yes, when I look back historically for this race, it hasn't been very successful, but I'm a very positive person, as you know, and I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and I just hope and I pray that the car will work and function as reliable as it has at other races this year, and maybe we can put that record straight, because I mean, one of my desires is to win in as many countries as I can before I leave Formula One, and of course I haven't won in Japan and I haven't won yet in Australia, so let's wait and see. In all essence, as you're all aware, I mean, I really would have loved to have been able to defend my world title in Formula One next year, but unfortunately, through a lot of reasons, which the management of the Williams team only know, they didn't want to offer me the opportunity to defend the championship in the manner that I won it, and you know, there's a lot of commercial reasons behind that, and you know, of course, that's a lot to do with Prost and the French connection. I'm afraid I don't have any control over those situations, and I don't have any wish to either, really. I thought the team was big enough to be above it, but unfortunately they weren't. But I'm not really going to pass any further comments other than the fact that, you know, unfortunately, regrettably, I'm not going to be there next year, not only for myself, but for the fans worldwide. And if there is any sadness, it's that one thing, that I'm not going to be able to drive where I think I deserve to drive next year, to try and defend the World Championship in the Williams car. On saying that, I was offered a very, very positive opportunity to go to IndyCar racing, to drive with a great team with Paul Newman and Carl Haas. The opportunity I have there is immense, complete fair terms, equal treatment to try and actually win an IndyCar championship, which is, if you can't win a Formula One championship again, that's the next best thing. So I'm really happy for that, and I mean, who knows, because the way I feel at the moment and the way I'm driving, I don't think I'm going to retire for a number of years yet, maybe 3 or 4 years time, and therefore you never know, there might be an opportunity to come back again into Formula One, but I wouldn't rule it out. I would say at this moment in time it's very, very doubtful, because I think now that I will have to concentrate my thoughts and my life now into IndyCar racing, and as you know, I'm very capable of doing that. And I think when I start to have success in America, and as John just said correctly, that probably the longest journey I'll have is about 5 or 6 hours within America, and there's only one race out of America at the present time, which is in Australia, and therefore I'll be able to have a much better home life, and I think the quality of life, as we call it, will be very much improved. And therefore the overall package, although perhaps in some ways not as rewarding as Formula One, in a lot of other ways it's probably more rewarding, and therefore only time will tell. But the greatest thing of all is that I'm leaving Formula One with the most wonderful and best prize in the world, which is the championship. And I think, as you all agree, with the amount of work and years I've put into my Formula One career, I think it's fair to say that we deserve that. And if you have to leave Formula One, isn't that the best way to leave it, with the greatest prize of all?
日本での初日、見事に疲れ果てた一日だった。金曜の朝、パドックはいつものように忙しい。朝の練習走行は第一次予選に向けてマシンをきちんと調整するために大変重要だ。マシンが到着した途端にファンがフロントに集まり、歓迎と撮影の嵐。嬉しそうなナイジェルはシェルダン・シーニーとその日の打ち合わせ。メカニックの仕事に終わりはない。自分のアイドルを一目見ようとぶらつくファンたち。サーキットに入れなかったファンも中の様子を覗く方法を研究中。日本のファンは常に熱心に見物をする。レースまでまだ2日あるというのに、彼らは雰囲気を満喫し記念品を買い漁る。それも練習走行と第一次予選の合間に。
はい、T シャツから皆さん、ここまでマンセルです。数多く取り揃えてございます。
Well, good afternoon to everybody on the Wow Wow Show. Here we are. I'm sitting in the garden here at Suzuka Circuit Hotel. The time now is 3:30 in the afternoon, and clouds are coming over. Provisional practice today and provisional pole. I'm very pleased to say to you that I did a 1 minute 37.3 seconds, which is the quickest time of the day, and the next time was 1:38.2. Which was my teammate, and then Ayrton Senna was very, very rapid behind with the latest Honda qualifying engine with a 1:38.3. So very, very pleased with that, because the forecast tomorrow, as you're aware, is going to be raining, or I hope it is. Please all pray tonight for rain tomorrow so I can have an easy time, because it was very difficult today. I mean, you probably saw one of my spins today. I was going backwards on the circuit, which isn't very, very clever, is it? But managed then to do a quick time straight after. Well, we're going to go straight into the question and answer time, and I'd like to thank you again because, I mean, it seems to me that every program that goes along we get even bigger and better questions. Well, without any further ado, here's the first one. Dear Mr. Mansell, congratulations on winning the World Championship for 1992. You have driven for 3 teams so far, Lotus, Williams and Ferrari, and then Williams again. My question is, which team had the most powerful machine? You experienced both the Williams Honda Turbo and the Williams Renault at Williams, of course, and it would be great to hear your comments on which was better. Well, let's cover that one. There's no question whatsoever it was a turbo era of the Honda engine in 1986-87. In qualifying trim we had well over 1,000 horsepower. In fact, it was 1,360 horsepower at times. I mean, and that's a lot of power from a 1500cc engine. Wheel spin, I'll never forget, there was one race we had at Detroit in 1986 and we were getting wheel spin all down the back straight in 6th gear. Because obviously it was a little bit bumpy, but we had so much power and there was very little grip, and that was very, very exciting. So I think that was the best time, certainly the most powerful engine then at the time. Also, to finish your question, it says, it's very unfortunate that you are retiring from Formula 1, but I'll be looking forward to your victory at Suzuka. Well, I'll try, and thank you very much. And the second question we have, dear Mr. Mansell, though it is difficult to get over the fact that you are retiring from Formula 1, I would like to thank you for making the races so enjoyable all the time. I will be cheering you on as you move on to the Indy cars in the future. Well, thank you very much. My question is, out of all your Formula 1 races so far, which was the most memorable? Well, do you know, I have to say that there's been a lot of memorable races and a lot that you'll be able to buy because they're all going to be on video quite shortly for you. But I mean, I must confess that my sweetest victory and the most moving one was this year in 1992 with my home Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix. And why was it? Well, it's probably because I dominated the race in the style that I did, but moreover, when I finished that, or crossed the finishing line, everybody poured onto the circuit, which is totally unheard of in England. And I think then the scenes that you saw and witnessed on television were second to none in the world, and it was incredibly moving and something that I will remember for the rest of my days. So I have to say the British Grand Prix in 1992. Dear Mr. Mansell, the third question is very sad to hear you announce your retirement, but I will continue to cheer you on in IndyCars. Well, thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you at the Suzuka Circuit this year. Please take care of yourself, especially with regard to your injuries. Well, thank you very much. By the time you read this question, I will be a father. Well, congratulations to you. And I would appreciate it if you could tell me how you felt when your first child was born. Also, did your attitude to racing change after the birth? Well, hopefully you are a father now and you'll know that it's the most wonderful experience you've ever had in the world. I mean, you don't know whether to cry, cheer, yell, but I mean, it is wonderful, isn't it? And I hope you were there. I mean, of course you were there at the birth, because it's something that sort of puts you and your wife together in a closeness that no one who hasn't had a child or witnessed a child being born, especially their own child being born, can have. And yes, of course, it does alter your attitude, because all of a sudden you have other responsibilities you never dreamt of. And there is a certain period of time where you have to make a transition, and after that, then I think the feeling and the warmth and the protection you have for your wife and your child is such that it helps you in life and it makes you a more complete person. And that's not to say, of course, that people who don't have children don't have that, because they can have it with a partner. They don't have to have a child for it. But obviously, if you are blessed with having children and you do experience this, then it is very special, and I think you'll agree. Well, here we are, the fourth question. Dear Mr. Mansell, I have been interested in Formula 1 since 1984, and I've always been a great admirer of yours. Thank you. I so wanted to see you drive with red one on your car, and I'm sad that I will not see this in Formula 1. However, I will continue to follow your progress and wish you well. Thank you. My question is, of all the fans throughout the world, could you tell me which country fans have the best behaviour? Also, are there any fans who have inspired you so far? Well, I mean, that's incredible, really, that question there. I'd say there are so many fans which have inspired me, and I'd say I'd have to give 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 to 4 countries in the world. There is no question the British crowd, the Italian crowd, the Brazilian crowd, and of course the Japanese are the most enthusiastic fans of Formula One. And therefore, I mean, and even the Australians as well. I mean, I would say the following in different countries, but certainly those countries I've mentioned certainly inspire me and move me very, very much indeed. And what can I say except a big thank you to you all, because it does make Formula One and racing so much more pleasant. Thank you. And the last question of this show. Dear Mr. Mansell, congratulations on winning the World Championship this year. When you announced your retirement, I cried in front of the television. I am now learning to live with the realization. I have heard that once the championship is finished for this season, you will be having an operation on your foot in December. Is this true? Well, first of all, don't be too sad, because I'm not retiring altogether. I'm going to be racing in America, and hopefully you'll be watching some of those races. And yes, at the end of this year, I am going to have an operation on my foot, because a lot of people haven't realized that I broke my toes in my left foot some years ago. And I've not said anybody, or not said anything to anybody, but in Formula One over the last 4 or 5 years, there's races you can go back through the archives and see that I got out of the car limping, and everyone says, oh, Nigel Mansell's very tired, he's exhausted. Well, the truth was that I've been driving all these years with broken toes, and the problem I have is a bone about this large in my left foot is coming out the base of my sole. And of course it's very, very painful, and at times it's more painful to walk on than you can imagine. And the other thing, if people actually observe, is that every time you ever see me out and about, unless it's to a very special function, I'm always wearing these big boots. And that is because these big boots are the only shoes in the world that I can wear, and I'm relatively out of pain. But of course all injuries catch up with you, and I'm having this operation, and I hope, please, that after the operation I'll be out of pain, and I might even be a bit quicker. Please take good care of your health in the future as well, and I'll be cheering you on in the IndyCars. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of the question and answer of today, Friday, the 23rd, here in Suzuka. Aren't we nice and close to you? Prediction for tomorrow? Well, weather forecast is not good. The crowd forecast is fantastic. So we'll be patient, you'll catch up with us, and maybe tomorrow we'll be able to show you the preparation of the car before the race. See you then.
日本は世界にカラオケを広めた。この鈴鹿サーキットホテルにもご多分に漏れずカラオケ設備があり、自らの歌声に酔いしれることができる。どんなサーキットにも目印となるものがあるが、鈴鹿での目印は多分この観覧車に違いない。ここからなら何の障害もなくサーキット全体が見渡せる。なかなか面白い体験だし、500円の値打ちは十分ある。惜しむらくは動き続けること。頂点に居座ることができず、川の向こう側へと鈴鹿の眺めは消えてしまった。山に沈む夕日もまた格別。ファンの何人かはここで一晩野宿する。願わくば雨にたたられんことを。土曜日の朝、鈴鹿は暗く濡れていた。傘自身は憂鬱そうだが、熱心なファンにとっては雨など取るに足らないことのようだ。彼らはせっせとパドックレーンを往復している。見えるのは雨の雫だけというのに。二次予選は全く意味がなかった。12人のドライバーが思い切ってコースへ出ただけ。誰もがこの日競技できない無念さをその表情に表している。だが皆さんにはナイジェルと共に鈴鹿を飛ばしてもらおう。
Okay, well here we are. Good afternoon to you, and we're going to take you on a quick lap of the Suzuka Circuit. As you can see, we haven't had a very good day weather-wise today, so it will actually be a qualifying lap of yesterday. Most important thing for a qualifying lap, and a racing lap for that matter, is to come out of this chicane here, obviously as straight and as fast as you can, exiting here in second gear, changing up to third, to fourth and to fifth, even before you get to the start and finish line, grabbing sixth gear about here, and at this point in the dry doing about 279 kilometers an hour, and then at this point here about 296 to 300 kilometers an hour, depending on the wing setting. This corner, very, very tricky, very fast indeed. You change down to fifth gear and then changing down. It has what is known as two apexes. This is a two apex corner where you have to slingshot, hit this apex, come out here, drive along and then hit this apex coming through here. Then you take this whole next section in fourth gear. Very, very important indeed. On full tanks, maybe you'll change down to third here, but that's only in the race on full tanks. In qualifying, you're in fourth. And then changing up to fifth and going around this section here, flat out in fifth gear, and in fact exiting this corner here at about 260 kilometers an hour. So you're going very quickly here, changing at this point here into sixth gear, and then probably before hitting this corner, you're probably doing about 278 kilometers an hour. Changing down to fourth, very, very quick entry, and then down to third just before the corner, exiting, changing up to fourth before the bridge, after the bridge up to fifth, and then coming to one of the tighter corners on the circuit, to the hairpin, braking, 5, 4, 3, 2, round the corner in second gear. Very, very tricky corner here, a lot of traction problems for the car, very, very hard for the car here and the tyres. Accelerating second, third, fourth, fifth, actually going up the hill over the brow, and then changing up to sixth here, going very quickly again getting up to 278 mile an hour to 280 kilometers an hour, I should say. Braking a little bit, sixth, fifth to fourth, and then taking all this corner in fourth gear. Very, very important corner this. The exit of this corner is important because you carry all this speed down the straight, fourth to fifth to sixth, and then this is again when you're reaching upwards of speeds of 300 kilometers an hour. And if the car is really good and you're brave enough or silly enough, I'm not quite sure which, you can take this corner more or less flat out in sixth gear and you don't brake. You have a bit of a confidence lift on the accelerator and then going through here very quickly, braking from sixth to fifth to fourth to third to second, very hard. You saw the smoking tyre there yesterday, coming through the chicane, and then it goes without saying, if you're able to do this, you actually do a time of 1 minute, 37.3 seconds. And the second time is my teammate with a 1 minute, 38.2. So very pleased indeed that we've got pole here on this circuit, because I think it's very important indeed, especially in the wet, if you can start from pole position. You can tell now that my voice is a little bit hoarse. That's because I've been shouting at some of you fantastic fans, because I almost got crushed to death coming here. We had a little bit of an exciting time on the bike where we almost got pushed off the bike several times, but I'm pleased that we managed to get back and take on the lap of Suzuka Circuit.
土曜の夜、キヤノンスポンサーズパーティー。ウィリアムズのドライバー2人はこの中で一番の注目の的。安全にうまく通り抜けるため、ナイジェルにはこのたくましい世話人シーン・ピッカリングが必要だった。フジテレビよりナイジェルへ記念のアンティーク時計が贈られた。ナイジェルとウィリアムズの交渉がもつれたいきさつをシェルダン・シーニーに聞けるチャンス到来。
Well, it was a worthwhile task. Achieving the World Championship was something worthwhile, and Nigel I wanted very much for his driving to continue for at least one more year. Not enough other people wanted it enough for it to happen, and so it fell by the wayside. I think that for any negotiation to be successful, there is a commercial side and a human side. I think the the commercial side was nearly achieved, and it required a human commitment to put things together at the end of the day. I was certainly very much involved in that. I certainly worked as hard as I could towards it. I know Nigel wanted it very much, and I think it's easy for people watching this to know who else needed to make a great commitment, and not only within Williams but in some of our major partners, and they didn't perhaps want it quite enough for it to happen. I think it's difficult to apportion blame. I think the other drivers were less involved than some of the media have suggested, and I'm not sure anybody deliberately tried to prevent it happening. It required huge efforts of will for a lot of people. It required similar efforts in 1990, 2 years ago, when Nigel had retired, to get everything together for him to come into the team, and on that occasion we managed to achieve it. But nobody was trying to stop it happening, I don't think, on this occasion. There just wasn't enough push behind it, enough commitment in one or two places to achieve something which Nigel wanted, and I certainly wanted personally, very much indeed. At the end of the day, there was clearly sufficient money. It was commitment and will, and perhaps an extra dash of humanity that was needed to make it happen. It's been a period of tremendous satisfaction for me, because I'd always believed in his abilities, really ever since he drove for us in 1985. Not only from the talent point of view, but because of the effort that he puts into everything that he does. He's unable to lose at anything, and the drivers that I've respected over the years, Jochen Rindt was another one some years ago, earned my huge respect and admiration from their massive commitment to winning at everything always. And Nigel is very obviously like that, and he works immensely hard at what he wants to achieve. And I believed in 1990, after his retirement, that it would be a terrible waste if he'd stopped at that stage. I believed a world championship was possible. My family, who were very much associated with what I do, also believed a world championship was possible. So I had, like Nigel has, a lot of support from my family in the very tough period in 1990 when we had to try to persuade him to return. And there were disappointments in 1991 when he, as everybody knows, had some unreliability. Indeed, he had a difficult start to the 1991 racing season. And later on, as the year developed, he became as competitive as I thought he would be. And then in 1992, we made rather greater steps over the winter than the other two leading teams, and had a very competitive car. But despite the efforts of those, for whom I'm sorry, who doubt Nigel's talents, who chose to try to denigrate what he's achieved, his obvious commitment to performance all the time, the way he drove the car to its ultimate potential all the time, was immensely rewarding for me. I know he found the pressure of part of this year extremely difficult, but to achieve something which, or to see someone achieving something which they've been working for so long is very satisfying and rewarding, and to feel that in a small way one's helping has been a huge area of personal satisfaction for me, and I don't regret anything that's happened in the last couple of years, because very tiring and demanding though it's been hugely satisfying, and sometimes, as I think you know, a lot of fun as well.
ナイジェルにとってパーティーは終わったよ。レース当日午前8時10分近く、ワウワウ視聴者だけにナイジェルがウォームアップセッションに出る前の様子をお見せしよう。不燃性のバラクラバ帽をかぶるまではおしゃべりタイム。それからネックブレス。最後はレーシングヘルメット。ヘルメットは日本製アライのヘルメット。 ルノーのエンジニアデニス・シェバリエとの最終打ち合わせ。レースメカニックのデイビッド・ブラウンとも。足を一払いして、それからナイジェルは身をよじり、狭くて隙間のないコックピットへ入る。タイヤウォーマーを外し、ベルトでシートに固定される。ハンドルが定位置にセットされる。イグニッションオン。名高いレッド5はピットレーンをうねりを上げて出ていく。鈴鹿の誰よりもあなたは今素晴らしい見物席にいるのですよ、視聴者の皆さん。
Nigel Mansell.
A truly great passing manoeuvre.
ナイジェルはタイ記録13回目のポールポジションからかつてないほどの好スタートを切った。第1コーナーにいち早く入る。1周目の終わりにはリカルドに3秒1の差をつけた。ホンダにとっては思いがけない災難。セナがエンジントラブルで早くも3周目でリタイアした。ナイジェルはリカルドに先頭を譲り、いつもとは逆のフォーメーションでワンツーフィニッシュを狙う。だが44周目、ナイジェルに悲劇が降りかかる。ルノーエンジンが壊れ、ピットに戻るときは目を疑うほど炎を出した。ガレージに無事戻ったナイジェルはまずルノーのデニス・シェバリエと話をする。エンジンの故障でこんなにも長い間話し合うことはかつてなかった。世界中で最も知りたがり屋のあなたに真相を伝えるワウワウ。
As you can see, with 20 odd laps to go, I pulled over and just let Ricardo by.
Was that pre-arranged?
I wasn't pre-arranged as such, but I said I'd help him, and I figure for him to go into the last race with 6 points ahead of Ayrton is better than only 2. So, I'm just sad that we weren't, 1-2, and I should have got another 6 points, which is a shame.
It just happened just like that in a flash.
Yeah, I mean. Engines do let go occasionally like that. It was obviously quite spectacular the way it went. So obviously I got a bit warm in the car, but I didn't want to walk back.
Disappointed in a way for all your fans here though in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I would have conceded first anyway. I demonstrated that. But I mean, I'm very disappointed not to get the 6 points, because I wanted to get some extra points in the championship. And the team worked very well. I mean, the mechanics I feel for, because it's a shame for them.
Any plans now between the final race in Adelaide?
Yeah, get on the plane and shoot off to a bit of sunshine, golf, and a bit of relaxez-vous, we call it in England.
Bit of fishing as well, I believe.
Yeah, going fishing, and we're going to a special creek now, not the Murray River because it's been flooded, but we're going to just have a nice time, spend some time with my sister with her 2 young children. So I'll see my new niece of 9 months now, so that'll be very nice. But I'd like to say thank you to everybody at the Wow Wow Show here for hosting and supporting me here at your home circuit in Suzuka. It has been, even though we haven't finished, it's been a fantastic day. I think the Williams team put on a very good show, and your support as normal has been second to none. So I thank you very much and look forward to welcoming you to Adelaide, the last race of the season.
計画が不成功に終わったナイジェルを慰めるシェルダン。今シーズン初の勝利に酔いしれるリカルド。レースの結果は1位パトレーゼ、2位ベルガー、そして3位はイギリス人ブランドル、4位はデ・チェザリス、続いてアレジ、フィッティパルディ。彼にとっては初の得点だ。ドライバーズポイントではリカルドが6ポイントセナを引き離し2位に返り咲いた。残すところあと1レース。コンストラクターズポイントではウィリアムズがダントツでトップ、マクラーレンとベネトンがまだ2位争いをしている。ナイジェルはまたしても悪気はないが、少々熱心すぎる日本のファンの包囲網を突破しなければならない。
危ない、これ事故るよ、巻き込まれるよ。うわ、ガードも危ない、危ない、危ない、危ない、危ない、危ない、危ない。Tell them we'll walk from here. Tell them we'll walk from here so I can back out.
インディーカーについてミケーレ・アルボレートと短いおしゃべり。そして最後のサインはとても若いファンのために。ではさよなら日本。次回はいよいよ最終戦 F1 ワールドチャンピオンシップ第16戦オーストラリアグランプリにナイジェル・マンセルがご案内します。